over West Ham at half-time. Izzy Christensen, Rachel Coursey here. And Rachel, the start for Chelsea was the dominance we expected.
It was, but they do deserve credit for that because they probably knew that they had to come with that same intensity, which was going to be difficult to do. A lot of changes, some tired legs. They really were at it, though, right from the start. A few early opportunities, really put West Ham under pressure. And in the end, you know, they deserved to take the lead when they did. And, you know, a lot came down from the left-hand side early on. I think Shekiera does well. She just creates a yard of space that allows her to face up Tiziak. She gets the ball in. I think Ashley Lawrence does really well to keep it alive, and it's an exceptional finish from her, I know.
And this is what you say there, Rach, about the role of Shekiera. If we just have a quick look at her role in this, I've noticed throughout the first half, what she's been doing is pinning the centre-backs really well. You talk about breaking down a low block. Shekiera's role in this is crucial because she pins Tiziak, takes her into a place she doesn't want to go, and it just disrupts the shape of West Ham's back five. And of course, Lawrence locking it at the back post really well, and Hermana with a snapshot finish. Excellent first goal for Chelsea. The second goal, we're noticing a trend here. We're seeing it again. So it's come from the left-hand side again. I'm just going to pause it here, and I just want to highlight again the role of Shekiera. Again, she's doing the same thing. She's pinning. But then have a little look at Aggie Beaver-Jones. This is Aggie at her best, arriving into space. And what she does here is she spins off the shoulder of Siren really well, enters into the space. Yes, a little bit fortuitous, but Aggie doesn't miss from there. It's brilliant from Chelsea, and that's how to break down a low block. Exhibit A.
So attack, great, but defensively, question marks again for Chelsea with West Ham getting one back.
We did say they would carry a threat, and this, to be fair, deserves huge credit because the execution, the technical ability, there's an element here of, you know, fortuitous a little bit, gets away from Ueki, does really well to sort of hook it forward. But Martinez there, the control to take it down and strike so calmly with power. Really nice finish. Chelsea were disappointed, you know, it comes from a throw-in. That's one thing that annoys coaches, so I'm sure.
4 goals in 7 WSL starts for Martinez, though. She certainly has that. Yeah, for the first time since February 2018, Chelsea surrender a 2-0 advantage in the league, on 2-2 with West Ham. Shekiera Martinez with both goals for the Hammers. West Ham actually outshot Chelsea in that second half. So Shekiera Martinez taking the applause, the hips doing the dancing, and she also takes the player of the match.
Shekiera, congratulations, getting a point away against Chelsea with a great performance, especially in the second half. You guys must be very proud.
Yeah, we are really proud to get this 1 point, and yeah, we really started in the first 20 minutes was not how we wanted, but then we came back stronger, and we're really happy that we scored the first goal in the first half. Yeah, we are really happy.
Yeah, and a great afternoon from you, scoring both goals. The first goal, very powerful strike, and the second goal, the one that gave you guys the point. So, any favorites between those 2 goals?
I think both goals were really important. My team gave me a lot of good motivation and power, and yeah, it was really important to score the first goal.
Yeah, Shekiera Martinez, arguably West Ham's player of the match. Izzy Christensen, Rachel Coursey. Her little bit of something different. You could give it all to her in terms of changing things for West Ham, but so well supported, particularly in that second half.
Yeah, she was brilliant. And, you know, you also need to consider she probably didn't have too many other clear-cut chances, so her actual ability to stay focused, keep her attention on the task, knowing that if she does get that moment, there is a little bit of pressure because you know you don't often get that many against Chelsea. But they really came into it in the second half. I think the pitch started to get a little bit difficult, which just meant sort of the fluidity of the game was lost a little bit, which I think then kind of evened out. But West Ham were excellent. They made it really difficult. I agree with what she said. You know, the timing of that first goal, the first 30 minutes of the game, they were under a lot of pressure. And the timing of that first goal, just before half-time to get them back in it, that changes the emotion of the game. It slightly changes it for Chelsea, asks a few questions, a few players that haven't played as many minutes. Was really important, I think, how then the momentum continued, and a brilliant second goal, brilliant header to get the equaliser.
5 in her last 7 for Martinez, and I think since January, her and Elizabeth Turland are top scorers this year. So you can see what a difference she's made for this side?
Yeah, I think bringing her into the side has given West Ham a lot of belief in that area. It's kind of reduced the role of Asai, even though Asai's been brilliant in terms of assists and goals as well. So they're kind of forming a really nice sort of trio up front with Ueki as well. But I think what impressed me the most today was the ability to stay in the game and be competitive. And I think the way that they followed through in the second half, the physicality, they were up in Chelsea's faces. I think they deserve a lot of credit, and I think good things happen to those who deserve it. And I think West Ham are not lucky right now. They've worked really, really hard to get this run of results. They've got some fantastic results of late. And that comes because they've been sticking to their task and believing in what they do. And I think it's a message to other teams in this league in terms of being patient, but also knowing that the process is the most important thing. And to get a point at the champions in those circumstances, a late goal, it's exceptional for West Ham.
Goals at crucial times. Chelsea 2 up, and then West Ham score just before half-time to put the pressure back on them.
Yeah, and it comes from just sort of a ball round the corner. And I think from a Chelsea perspective, you need to be a little more disciplined. You need to, you need to just anticipate, where is the danger. I think you see there Millie Bright, she just doesn't quite know that Martinez is just off her shoulder far enough. Great control to just take it on the chest. You see there, she lets it bounce and just hits it sweetly. Hannah Hampton has no chance in the goal. And, it was only moments before half-time, so it was crucially important.
And then the second goal.
So late on, and I could start to feel something. West Ham were turning the dial a little bit, and Kirsty Smith with the ball in. This is a really good ball in, but do you know what's even better? The header. Back across goal, this angle will probably see it a little better. You can see Martinez bottom of the screen. Chelsea are complaining that she's offside in this instance. She's not involved in the phase. Asai is being kept onside by Lucy Bronze in this situation. She snaps into action quicker than Lawrence, and then she's able to hold the ball up and progress it and shift it. This is really good. It's just that spike in intensity she changes. And then if you just watch Martinez at the back post here, it's Lucy Bronze who just misjudges the flight of the ball. She doesn't have a check. I mean, to be fair, it's a brilliant jump, but the ball's even better, and the header back across the space. Any touch on that from Hampton is going to cause an issue for Chelsea nonetheless, but the fact that the ball's nestled beyond the goal, beyond the keeper into the side of the goal, it's brilliant. She almost looked surprised that she'd scored it. I was thinking, there's nothing to be surprised about. It was a brilliant header. Like, you deserved it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it just epitomised a fantastic performance from them in the second half.
Rhiannon Skinner, there's a brilliant piece with her on skysports.com about how they've been building to this point. They brought all those players in last January to maintain their position in the WSL, and how that's grown. You can see a blend. We talk about the Chelsea bringing on players, but the players actually that West Ham brought on to affect the game at the end.
Yeah, she made changes, and Kirsty Smith being one of those changes with the assist. I think they've been a team that have had to build a little bit of resilience, and I think that's what she's come in and just kind of found that stability. Rick Passmore as well, one of our assistants, I know him really well, and I know he's all about that sort of that intensity out of possession and doing your job. And I think that's something that for a lot of those teams that see themselves in the middle chunk of teams, and we see a lot of variability between positions in the table. Now that West Ham have that is what gives you that stable platform to then try and build upon. That's the sort of thing that then when you want to go and get players in the summer again, you have something to appeal to players, because you say, look, we've really solid foundations, we want to play football, we've got adaptability, we've competed with Chelsea. These are the really important things when you're then trying to continue that development.
It's about finding diamonds as well, isn't it? When we look at the WSL table, and she talks about there being the 4 and then everyone else, and I say you've got to resource them. You do, because if managers like Rhiannon are getting results like this, they're up to 7th today, we'll keep saying it every week, you've got to resource these teams so that they can challenge that top 4.
100%, but what you've also got to do is you've got to do what West Ham are doing right now. And that's, the way that Rhiannon's just spoken there, she spoke about sustainability and being sustainable in the league. Too many teams have come and gone in this league and said they're going to challenge the top 3 before they've even put the concrete in place to challenge mid-table. And ultimately, she's spot on. In Sky Sports Green Month and sustainability, it's about being sustainable in this league and being competitive. And I think, West Ham's performance today was an example of an in-game competitive performance where you can compete with the likes of Chelsea. Yes, Chelsea are in a moment of suffering because of the run that they've been on. It challenges you. No matter how deep your squad is, it challenges you. But West Ham just took that. They smelt blood and they used it to their advantage. And that's exactly what this league's about. If we want it to become, some would argue it's the best league in the world right now. I still think we've got a little bit further to go, but we will get there. And I want the league bigger, but also we want the league to be sustainable. And so it's not easy to predict the results every weekend. And it shouldn't be. It's getting easier. It's getting harder to predict the results. I think Everton have done brilliantly well as well in a similar sort of bracket as West Ham, benefiting from consistency and recruitment and added players. And it's not about, signing, players for hundreds of thousands. It's about finding the right players. And it's all about the coaching and how well are these players developing under the system and patience. Those three things in one go is going to help us. And the more teams that are doing that in this league, the better it's going to be and the more sustainable it'll be. It'd be harder for Chelsea, the Cities, the Arsenals, the Manchester Uniteds to win every single week because the league is better.
As it should be. Right, we mentioned the fact that only West Ham and Manchester City have pinched points off Chelsea at home over the last 3 years in the league. Let's hear from the Chelsea boss, Sonia Bompastor.
Sonia, a very dominant performance, mostly in the first half. Why do you feel in the end you weren't able to get all 3 points?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we had a really dominant first half, especially the first 30 minutes. We created a lot of opportunities. We should have scored more than 2 goals, probably 3 or 4 in that half. We didn't. I think after we just allowed West Ham to score a goal in a throw-in, not good enough from us. And after, I think the performance in the second half was not good enough for us to get a better result.
Why do you feel there was this drop in the second half? Is it more of a draining, because it's been a very intense period for you guys?
Yeah, to be fair with the players, this block has been crazy. We played so many games, 8 games, 28 days. We traveled a lot. We played intense games, 4 games in a row against City, where the players left everything on the pitch. And I think, it's always difficult with this quick turnaround in the game today against West Ham to have all the energy. But I think that's not an excuse. I think in Chelsea we have the depth in the squad and the quality in the squad enough to be able to finish this block in a better result. But sometimes it happens, when you are not clinical enough, you are not able to win games. I think we conceded too many situations defensively. But again, when you look at the bigger picture, I think, we are 4 games left, 6 points ahead of the second team in the league. Really good position, and I think all the teams will wish to be in our position.
You mentioned that you wish you've scored more today, of course, but do you think you could have capitalized more, especially on the wide areas, because you use crosses a lot?
Yeah, I think the spaces today were more in the outside corridors, wider on the pitch, so I agree with that. I think sometimes we maybe forced a little bit too much inside, but we'll reflect on the game and see where we can improve. But again, disappointing result, but I think, we need to stay positive because we are in a really good position still. Going into the next block, we still are in a good position for the 3 other competitions we want to perform in, and I think that's the bigger picture, and we need to stay all together and positive.
Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you.
It was another of those purple patches for Chelsea, wasn't it, to go 2 up. Everything that we talked about, how brilliant they were for that 30 minutes in the Champions League. We thought, right, this is going to be another potentially big score for them.
Yeah, it seemed that way. The first 30 minutes, they were exceptional. Real intensity, put West Ham under extreme pressure, basically camped in the West Ham half. Balls just constantly into the area. The first goal, it came from a pattern that brought them a lot of success. A little clip ball into the back area by Macario. Lawrence keeps it alive, and it's a great finish from Hermano, and that really was well deserved at that point in the game. And West Ham will scrutinise that from a defensive point of view, but you just see the pressure. You see Niamh Charles at one side of the screen, and that's actually Lawrence, the opposite full-back, the other. It's very typical Chelsea, just putting you under pressure and then showing their quality. Hermano, who's not had a lot of minutes, that's why she's at Chelsea, because she can step in when asked to and scores a goal like that.
Yeah, Rianne Skinner was talking about this patch for West Ham as well. Eva Jones, another of those players taking her opportunity.
Yeah, and we spoke about Aggie Beaver-Jones before the game, and that sort of hunger and bite she's got about her. She always contributes without fail. It falls a little bit fortuitously to her in this instance, but the idea and the concept is so pure, because you've got the player pinning Macario and Aggie Beaver-Jones making the third player run, and she's been phenomenal. She really has, and I think there's so much more for her to come, and I want to see her play more regularly for England as well. I'm sure she'll say the same. But yeah, she definitely contributed well this afternoon.
Well, she knows all about playing the same team, and they've got Belgium coming up twice, England, so maybe that will help. Right, there's no emergency for Chelsea. I mean, this is they're still unbeaten. They've dropped a couple of points. And with all those changes too, is it any surprise that they're going to drop a few?
I think you could tell from hearing Sonia Bompastor. She was very measured, but she was also very honest. She's disappointed the goals they've conceded. She's not making excuses. She knows they're in a good position, but she also won't be happy, and she won't be too hard on the players, but she will also want to just remind them, this isn't the standard we've set, we need to go again. So I think it's just a measure of her leadership. You see that balance from her. I enjoy listening to her because she has a calmness, but you sort of know when she's irritated. That little comment on we lost it from a throw-in, you know that's irritated her. You know that the players tomorrow are going to know about that.
Talking of being irritated, I think I've irritated you once or twice today about this Aston Villa score. If we have a little look at the table, Villa with a huge win today. If we go to the bottom of the table, defeat for Crystal Palace and a late win for Aston Villa. What confidence is that going to give your team? Right, Chelsea had their eye on the prize when it comes to the WSL game show, but that wheel of fortune has spun once again. Good night.